Welcome to First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis, the birthplace of congregational humanism. We carry on that tradition of free thought today, dedicated to promoting a free search for truth, meaning, and justice. Our web address is firstunitarian.org. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. Welcome to First Unitarian Society on this Sunday morning in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Whoever you are, from wherever you come, you are welcome here. Whoever you love, however you define family, you are welcome. The identities you hold, how you want to be called, and your pronouns are respected and welcome here. Whatever the color of your skin, the language your grandparents spoke, the cultures that move in your being, the abilities and disabilities you hold, we welcome you. I'm glad that you're here because it is good. It is always good to be together. And we are here together on this magnificent land that is the cultural and spiritual and indigenous homeland of the Dakota Oyate. We offer gratitude to them and to all the peoples who have cared for and continue to care for this land where we now make our homes. Let us pledge ourselves to work for reconciliation and reparative relationships. This is work that we need to commit to and do. no matter what. First Unitarian Society is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations, and I'm Yulin Stoneberg, your interim minister. I use she, her pronouns. Now, as you've already experienced, Dilly Dally Alley is with us. That's Denny Carlson on sax, and Ben Ehrlich on drums, and Adam Tucker on bass. Welcome and thank you. And today, Sophia Spiegel, our summer ministerial intern, will explore with us how it is that names have power, how they enchant or disillusion, claim unwanted ownership, or open the door to freedom. The names we give to the sacred, whether shifting from God to cosmos, or prayer to contemplation, or meditation. Words reshape our experiences of meaning and mystery. So how is it do names and pronoun changes transform our understanding of ourselves and of each other? I invite you to explore with Sophia how language shapes belief, identity, and the humanist enchantment that lives within and beyond the words we choose. If you happen to be new with us this morning, I hope that you can join us after the assembly for our weekly mini meal, which happens in the lower assembly hall. And if you'd like to connect more, please stop by the office, because there you can sign up to receive our newsletter, and then you can be in the know about what's happening here all through the week. We are a multi-generational community, and today is another summer Sunday in the park with FUS. Our young'uns have gathered downstairs, and they do that before heading out for some fun and explorations. And youth of all ages are welcome to join them. You can check at the front office for more information or permission slips. And of course, as always, there is always room for families and kids right here in the assembly hall. We welcome your movements, your sounds, and if you so choose or need it, childcare is available down the hall to the left as you exit this space. And now, I invite you, wherever you are, to take a moment to welcome the morning, to greet those around you, and to introduce yourselves to someone you don't know. You can wave to those online with that camera, but wait till it turns toward you. It will turn, otherwise they're just looking at me. There's also a QR code on the screen to get the order of service. Welcome.
Helped you all scurry back to your seats. So now, after all that, I'm going to invite you to settle in this time and space. Take a few deep breaths. And let go, if only for a moment, whatever happened before this, whatever is about to happen after this. Our opening words are from a poem by Thich Nhat Hanh titled, "Please Call Me by My True Names." Don't say that I will depart tomorrow. Even today, I'm still arriving. Look deeply. Every second I am arriving. To be a bud on a spring branch, to be a tiny bird with still fragile wings learning to sing in my new nest. To be a caterpillar in the heart of a flower, to be a jewel hiding itself in a stone. I still arrive in order to laugh and to cry, to fear and to hope. The rhythm of my heart is the birth and death of all that is alive. I am the mayfly, metamorphosing on the surface of the river. I am the bird that swoops down to swallow the mayfly. I am the frog, swimming happily in the clear water of a pond. I am the grass snake that silently feeds itself on the frog. I am a member of the Politburo, with plenty of power in my hands. I am the man who has to pay his debt of blood to my people, dying slowly in a forced labor camp. My joy is like spring, so warm it makes flowers bloom all over the earth. My pain is like a river of tears, so vast it fills 4 oceans. Please call me by my true names, so I can hear all my cries and my laughter at once, so I can see that my joy and my pain are one. Please call me by my true names, so I can wake up, and so the door of my heart can be left open, the door of compassion.
Paul's coming to light our chalice, and I invite you to read with me the words on the screen. These are words that were composed by Sophia. We light this chalice to honor of the words we carry, the names we have claimed, received, or released, the pronouns that root us, and the silence between them all. Every name we choose, every truth we tell, draws us closer to what is holy, within and beyond the language we know. Our chalice flame is lit in our hearts and in this space and wherever we are gathered. So let's speak our congregational covenant together. Love is the spirit of this place, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you, Paul.
Okay, guys, so hello. Oh, nice. Okay. Hey. This is our first moment of singing today, so I invite you all to clear your throats. This tune is likely going to be pretty familiar to all of you guys. It's Come, Come, whoever you are. And for those of you who are using a hymnal, you can feel free to just read what's on the slide. It's a pretty simple tune. But for those of you using the hymnal, it's the gray one. It's number 188. This tune is supposed to come from the school of 13th century Persian thought, and it's often attributed to Rumi. And it's just trying to tell us that no matter who you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, this is a place for you not only to visit, but to return to, no matter how far away you've strayed off in the meantime. So we're going to learn this 3 parts in a round. I think Yulin's going to come over here and lead the first round. I'm going to be in the center, cueing you guys. Denny, this guy over here, he's going to give you guys a special rendition. Maybe you guys know it already. You want to sing it?
Broken your vows 1,000 times. You've broken your vows 1,000 times. So you've broken your vows 1,000 1,000 times, so you've broken your vows. 1,000 times, so you've broken your vows.
First Unitarian Society is a congregational humanist community. We're here for each other, our neighbors, and our planet. And one manifestation of that is our caring team. My name is Adele Hansen. I'm a member of that team, and we're here for you. There's always both joy and hardship in our midst. And if any time there's something happening in your life that you'd like to share with the care team or with this community, please, or if you need some support, please call the FUS office or send a note to Joys and Concerns at firstunitarian.org. You can be in touch with us using the contact on our website. After the assembly today, you're invited to stop by the card basket downstairs to send a note to folks you're especially thinking of today. This morning, I'd like to share with you the fact that Justice Bovee is successfully recovering from major surgery. She'll be healing for the next 12 weeks, that's a long time, and would welcome letters or visitors to her home during recovery. She's in the capable hands of Erica, her wife, children, and the larger care group. Last week, we took a moment to acknowledge and honor those members who passed away in the past year. However, there was some confusion about whether this meant 2024 or the 24-25 program year, which means we neglected to name some of those who died recently. So again, let us remember and honor those friends, now of blessed memory, and in the spirit of today's topic, I speak their names. Jenny Gruss, Dale Handine, Tom Hart, Brosart, Holly Layton, Carol Rydberg, Bill Sperber, Herb Sewell, Don Asp, Elin Soderlin, and Vince Barton. It's been another hard week in the news. Downright mean laws are being put into place, and so much tragedy. In particular, this morning, we hold in love all of those who are lost in the flash floods in Texas. Love is at the center of this faith. We take this time that we might connect with our shared humanity to embrace and celebrate the beautiful range of human diversity, to commit ourselves to showing up for those who need support, and to remember all who are suffering here and around the world. In the following moments of silence, let's reflect on all of the joys, losses, griefs, and milestones in our lives, in the lives of those we love, and in the lives of all beings everywhere. A moment of silence.
For a wisdom moment, Sophia picked a passage from Ocean Vaughan's "On this Earth We're Briefly Courageous," with the intention of highlighting how names can serve as both illusory and vital anchors for understanding our world. The passage takes place when Ocean is with his mother, Rose, in Saigon after his grandmother's funeral. Ocean describes how saying his mother's name stirs her from disorientation and takes on a new meaning. The bed creaks. You sat down. Where am I? You say, where is this? Not knowing what else to say, I say your name. Rose, I say. The flower, the color, the shade. Rose, I repeat. A flower is seen only toward the end of its life, just bloomed and already on its way to being brown paper. And maybe All names are illusions. How often do we name something after its briefest form? Rosebush, rain, butterfly, snapping turtle, firing squad, childhood, death, mother tongue, me, you. Only when I utter the word do I realize that rose is also the past tense of rise. That in calling your name, I'm also telling you to get up. I say it as if it's the only answer to your question, as if a name is also a sound we can be found in. Where am I? Where am I? You rose, Ma. You have risen.
Guys. So I had this original sermon titled, "What's in a Name?" this week. And when I asked myself that, I decided to look through a lot of different texts like etymology charts or linguistic theory, which was all horribly boring. And I finally happened upon this Ocean Vuong memoir that opened something up in me. Not because it gave me an answer to the question, what's in the name, but because it responded with another question that I didn't quite know how to answer. Where am I? And what does it mean to respond to that question with our name? I'm Sophia. You are Jacob or Denny or Adam or Ben or Catherine or Heather or Eulin. And here we are gathered in this sanctuary we call First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis. But how does the simple speaking of our name, tell us where we are? Even when that name is only the tiniest little speckle of who we are. Ocean Vuong speaks of a rose. A single bloom, he reminds us, might just last a week or two. A human life, on average, maybe 72 years, give or take. First Unitarian has been alive for 165 years. And yet, even so, the ligaments, the fibers, the bones of all of our living bodies will, of course, one day break down and return to the earth. And our favorite flowers are going to wilt, they're going to die, they're going to bloom again within our lifetimes. And so will some of our favorite people, no matter how much birth or death lifts us up or breaks us open. If we are fortunate, the life of a community like this one is going to ripple outward beyond our time, but even our most cherished names like First Unitarian Society, the kinds of names we speak with reverence, with maybe aching pleas, will always, inevitably, break down through swirls of entropy or soil or rock into air, transformed into compounds we can't even name. Over spans of time we can't even imagine. And still, to speak a name is to resist that inevitability. To say a name is to declare, there is something infinite here. Even when we're lost, even when we cry out across time and ask, where am I? To say a name with care, with reverence, is to begin to make holy what might otherwise pass away unnoticed. Names, when held tenderly, have the power to make the ordinary sacred. So how does a name like First Unitarian Society do just that? When we hear that name, we might recall a bold legacy. FUS is one of the first, if not the first, humanist congregations in this country. This is ground zero for a powerful experiment we call humanism, not only in Minneapolis, but throughout the world. The name First Unitarian has a story. It's a shared one that's stitched together in fragments in rooms named after founders and quiet wisdoms of elders who've walked these halls for decades. Even the scent and the sound of this building, which has held 165 years of breath and dust and song and conflict and aching love. Thanks to the tireless and loving work of our archivists, Wendy and George and countless others, that shared story has become increasingly knowable and touchable and traceable. But the truth is, the story of First Unitarian is also wildly particular, infinitely varied. Each of you carries your own version of what First Unitarian Society is. For some, this place evokes pride, for others, safety. For others still, confusion, frustration even, memory, meaning. Maybe this name reminds you of giddy E-squared outings or owl lock-ins or that new friend you ran into at the mini-meal last week. Maybe it reminds you of something brave you said in a support group, or maybe it even reminds you of the 12 emails you need to send to this or that person to make sure that thing actually happens. Shakespeare would actually agree with Ocean Vuong here. The original title of this sermon, What's in a Name, actually comes from Romeo and Juliet, a story so heart-wrenchingly precise because of the names that keep love apart. Classic tale. Juliet asks this burning question, not because she doesn't know what a name is, but because she does know what names can do. What's in a name, she asks. That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. A rose, she's saying, would still be a rose. You could call it a hose or a horse. It would still carry the same beauty. Its scent would still seduce us. And yet, we only seem to marvel when the rose is in full bloom. Not when it's still a seed, not when it's just a tight green little bud or a brambly tangle of thorns. We name it, we celebrate it when it's its most beautiful. Why? Maybe we name what overwhelms us. Maybe when beauty or love or pain or longing exceeds what we can hold, we reach out for a name to ground ourselves. And that can be dangerous too. I mean, thinking of the story of Romeo and Juliet, Montagues, Capulets, these family names, they begin to act like fences, flags of ownership, declarations of loyalty or exclusion. The very names that say, you belong, can also say, you do not. And of course, this isn't only Shakespeare's world, this is our world as well. I saw a video recently of a man crying on the steps of a courthouse. Maybe you've seen it too. His wife, we gather in this video, has just been taken into ICE custody. She did everything legally, he says. She followed every rule. We have 6 kids waiting for us to come home, he cries, again and again. Her only violation? A name, a nationality, a label our government has deemed unacceptable. This woman was not detained for something she did, but for the name that follows her, for the association that name calls to mind in someone else's system. Today, names are bearing the weight of life-altering tragedy, of children separated from their mothers, of people disappearing into systems with no accountability for their well-being or even their lives. Names shape how we are seen, how we are judged, how we are held or dismissed. And yet still, names can remain one of our most intimate forms of sacred speech. They can be containers of reverence. They can be containers of curses as well. They're probes, sometimes intrusive, into our identities. They're cloaks against the shadows of the past. They're whispers of intention cast into the world. Names are special because they evolve. They're not fixed. They're reshaped by the lives they hold and the love they are offered. They help make sense of what surrounds us, but they also give us something to grasp in the face of mystery. On Friday, I was sitting around a table with a few close friends on the 4th of July, if you choose to recall. And this particular 4th of July, for myself, and I imagine some of you, carried some complicated weight, especially for those of us who may feel that this country has, in too many ways, failed to live up to the promise of its own name. And we were eating skewers of veggies and meat and passing burgers around the table, and my girlfriend, in a gentle attempt to lift the spirit of that celebration, asked us, "What do we actually like about the United States?" And we all laughed, a little bit nervously, because at first it felt a lot easier to name the things we don't love, right? The guns, the fossil fuels, the prisons, police, the way the country music, the patriotism, the fireworks can sometimes sound like a hymn to forgetting all of that. But eventually, we did come up with real answers, true ones. One friend spoke about the magic of beach days. She described growing up visiting Jersey Shore every July 4th and how all the little Jersey families and friend groups would show up. They'd spread their towels side by side. They'd laugh if a beach ball bounced into someone else's court. sharing for one sacred afternoon the same wide-open body of sand and sea. Another friend talked about the back roads, how in this country you can drive for hours and pass through cornfields, mountains, deserts, forests, cities, every biome in a different mood, a different sky. Another friend of mine who immigrated from Chile smiled softly and shrugged when it was his turn. He said, "My favorite thing about the US, my wife." And we all laughed. Not the kind of laugh that dismisses, but the kind of laugh that says, "Oh, of course it's Athena." But there was something deeper there too, right? It was a quiet recognition that if not for her name, her citizenship, her nationality, he might not be there at all. So here's my invitation to you, my challenge for this week. In a week that commemorates the naming of a country called the United States of America, when someone asks you, "Where do you live?" and you might answer, "The US," what does that name mean to you? What image does it conjure? What ache? What hope? What claim? And perhaps more specifically for this congregation, when someone asks you, "Where do you worship on Sundays?" and you say, "First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis," what does that name mean to you? Because no name is ever just a name. It's a place where memory and meaning meet. It's a vessel that can carry both the harm of history and the heartbeat of something still worth building. Our names do not need to share the same language as empire. So what isn't a name? Your name, our name, this congregation's name? That's a question worth answering, not just today, but again and again. And with it, what scent rises with it, what memory, what hope. Because when spoken with care, your name and this congregation's name become the very way we name the sacred in our midst. It can be the way we see the sacred, not just each other in this community, but outside of it, in the rose bushes, in the people with different names. To name something as sacred means that it's also worth fighting for. Maybe so. Second congregational song, how could anyone ever tell you? Number 1053 in the Teal Book is meant to bring forth the traits that extend beyond naming. As you sing it, I invite us first to sing it to know how it goes first. And then I invite you to sing it to the people next to you. Maybe you look them in the eye, or maybe you just kind of like move your body that way if you feel more comfortable. And then finally to sing it to yourself, because you deserve it. This song has been sung by thousands of people around the world, ranging from mothers initiating their daughters into adulthood, groups recovering from addiction, and civil rights organizations affirming their inherent worth around the world, all to inspire powerful action on behalf of our shared humanity. With that, I invite you to please rise in body and spirit. First time through.
So let's give Sophia a round of applause. Good morning. My name is Catherine Jordan, and I'm a longtime member of this congregation. I shared my Unitarian history with you last year on my 70th anniversary of attending the society. You can't believe that. Today I want to mention how this place provides me with a community where I can experiment with creative ways to demonstrate my values of protecting our environment, of standing up to tyranny and authoritarianism. I've been a member of the Mental Health Awareness Team and now the Climate Action Team. That team has been bringing you Earth Day celebrations and action opportunities in partnership with Active Voices over the last 4 or 5 years. Here's an example. This year we adapted Joanna Macy and John Seed's Council of All Beings to hear directly from our animal and geological relatives. They shared the severe impact they are experiencing due to the rising Earth temperatures caused by human burning of fossil fuels. We involved over 20 members of the congregation to share the voices of birds, bees, fish, a river, butterflies, frogs, a forest, large and small animals. The sun even made an appearance. Larissa and her parents made an axolotl for her to embody. That's the pink creature there. Rebecca and I crafted a melting glacier, and we rehearsed and performed the ritual in the rented puppets from In the Heart of the Beast Puppet and Mass Theater and Sandy Spieler's Puppet Nest. Our young members, Avi and Misha, were our terrific guides who orchestrated the council. We ended with the congregation making a personal pledge of an action they will take this year to reduce their use of fossil fuels, and a mini meal of a Three Sister salad and bison sliders. I want to thank the Wilson Fund for supporting our Earth Day event and all of you for welcoming our participatory ritual. And I encourage all of you to dream of interesting ways to bring your vision and values to our assemblies. The First Unitarian Society is a free, independent, and self-governing humanist community. Our mission is to foster a free search for knowledge and meaning, to strive for justice, and to serve one another, the Twin Cities, and beyond. It's important that we all understand how our financial support is an important element in turning our shared vision into reality. To give, you can use a QR code on the screen, which will take you to our online giving form, where you can designate how you would like your donation used, or you can stop by the office or mail in your donation. And please feel free to reach out to us with any questions about giving to the First Unitarian Society. As the baskets are passed, you are invited to give generously and joyfully as you are willing and able. Thank you for your support.
So just a few announcements. You may have already heard that a generous donation has made it possible to contract with an agency to do a marketing campaign for this congregation. The goal of that campaign is to spread the word about FUS with attention-getting messages to pique the interest of those people out there who are looking for something like this place, but don't know it exists. You have 2 opportunities to learn more about that, today and again next Sunday the 13th. Members of the FUS Marketing Project team will do a presentation about the campaign. This will be a great opportunity to hear about how it was created and what it will look like when it's rolled out in September. So see you in the Dietrich room at 12:15, again today, or you can also do that next Sunday, or both. We are coming up on the deadline for registrations for our music summer camp for 5th to 8th graders, which is all about protest songs. If you know a young person who'd love this, please get them signed up as soon as possible. We are doing another training with Out Front on Saturday, it's Saturday, is that right? I think that's the wrong, it's a Wednesday, I think. No, wait a minute. When is July 19th? It's a Saturday? You're right, it's a Saturday. Okay, great. Boy, I got confused for a moment. Saturday, July 19th from 5 to 6:30. Another training about LGBTQ welcome and advocacy. It'll help us to advocate for justice on both a personal and community level, and to help make this a welcoming place for all folks. So please plan on being there. Childcare will be provided. And now, if you are not here in person, I hope that you can go out and enjoy this beautiful day, hopefully sharing time with some friends, because that's what we're going to do here. Because if you're here in person, we'd love to have you join us downstairs for a mini meal. Today, Bob Jandro is our head chef, and the menu is beer brats with caramelized onions, black bean sliders, citrus beet and fennel salad, and also chicken salad. So yum yum. Note that lunches pay what you can, and if you can ever put in a little extra, that helps to make it possible for us to just be a welcoming place for visitors and those who are unable to contribute today. So now we're going to move on to extinguishing our chalice.
As we close, let's thank everyone for their joyful and capable participation. Of you guys, of so many others, of Yulin, of course, and the band, of Ben and Adam and Denny over there, our incredible staff, the tech crew, the cooks and the helpers, our greeters, Paul, Adele, Jay, and Catherine, and many others. We need each other. We are in this together. So, let's extinguish our chalice. Please join Paul and me in speaking the words on the screen, which are different than the usual ones. Though we extinguish this flame, we do not extinguish the names that shape us, nor the truths we are still becoming. The chalice remains within us, a symbol of faith made tangible, a wisdom carried in story, in silence, in speech, and in every act of compassion that calls us by name.
Thank you, Paul. And our closing words today are written by Maureen Sorescu. They're called Getting Used to Your Name. After you have learned to walk, to tell one thing from another, your first care as a child is to get used to your name. What is it? They keep asking you. You hesitate, stammer, and when you start to give a fluent answer, your name's no longer a problem. When you start to forget your name, it's very serious. But don't despair, an interval will set in. And soon after your death, when the mist rises from your eyes and you begin to find your way in the everlasting darkness, your first care, long forgotten, long since buried with you, is to get used to your name. You're called just as arbitrarily dandelion, cowslip, cornel, blackbird. cawfinch, turtle dove, costmary, zephyr, or all these together. And when you nod to show you've got it, that everything's all right, the earth, almost round, may spin like a top among stars. So take all of this into your hearts as you listen to Dilly Dally Alley once more, and then go and rejoice in the power of the free and interconnected human spirit. May it be so.